Hi there, Greg Rice with E4 Crop Intelligence. Hopefully everybody's ready for a 2020 planting season here. Looking forward to an early spring. Compared to the last few years, it's been a challenge, but this year I'm looking forward to getting started here in 2020. What I'm going to talk to you a little bit about is some of these soil testing trends that we've had with E4 Crop Intelligence over the past 20 years. One of the awesome things about what we've done as a company, we have a lot of stability in our data, nice and consistency, that when we mine the data and take the data to make a true comparison analysis versus where the markets are, what our corn yields have been, and how we can better serve with this data that we've had in the past 20 years to make better decisions for you as customers on your fields. So some of the things I'm going to talk just a little bit about here is pH, phosphorus, and potassium. And I'm going to show how we can relate that to how our yields have been more consistent and stable through the years, and how we utilize that in our prescriptions and our equations and trying to make better decisions on your fields. So in the past 20 years, we've got over 1.5 million acres that we've tested, and over 1 million acres of yield data. So this is very consistent and stable data that we've been using through the course of our business. So I'm really excited to show you a few things here. So pH, for example, through the last 20 years, you can see from the year 2000 to 2019, we've kind of had a up and down with our pH, but pretty much between about 6 to about 6.4. We've had some spikes up here to about 6.7. And this is not buffer pH, this is just pH. But this is through millions of acres of soil testing data enriched into a region through about the western side of Iowa, up into the base of Minnesota to South Dakota, to about middle part of Nebraska down to Kansas City. And this is a very rich data set that we've been using. So as you can see over time, the trend line you can see has been increasing with pH as well. What that is it can be, we're doing a better job of liming and taking care of our pH areas. As you know, we do want to have that pH up there into a stable, 6.2 to 6.8-ish, for optimum corn performance for corn and soybeans. You can see some years we were high, like 2008 and 9. We were on a high side, but you can see we kind of dipped here. And sometimes when we soil sample and we're not consistently on every 3 to 4 years of soil sampling, we can kind of get back into a trend where we're not taking care of our pHs when we need to be. Also, soil precipitation can play a role with that, as well as anhydrous applications as well. But you can see we've consistently bringing that up the course of 2 years. You've seen it dip down kind of a little lower here. There was a time here we had a drought here in 2012, but you are starting to see where it's starting to come up a little bit, where ag lime, most of our applicators are getting it on time. Mother Nature does play a role in on trying to get our ag lime applied on time, but you can see where weather has a pattern here. So the whole basis of this, what I want to show you, is how important pH is in our operation, and how we don't want to make an emotional decision sometimes based upon the price of corn, or maybe I can get by after a year. But I can tell you that if we're not consistently controlling what our pHs are in the fields, it will hurt our yields to a certain extent. And also, there's other things such as chemical performance, optimization of your plant's utility as far as opportunity of nutrient take up and all those things. But you can see that we have been doing a pretty good job of bringing it up the past 2 years. So that actually has been positive. You can tell we've been doing a good job of liming up until that first decade here, but we kind of see we need to get back to getting our pHs caught up the last 10 years.